Bennett Porson was Mr. WCAT here on the court at Phillips Arena, where the Atlanta Hawks just beat the Philadelphia 76ers 117-96. Just one night after the Sixers picked up their first win of the season, the Hawks hand them their 8th loss on the season so far. The Hawks had a comfortable lead throughout the game. However, in the third quarter, when the Sixers brought it to 3, it was a late third quarter push that pushed the Hawks to coast out the fourth quarter. It was an entire Hawks team effort with 6 players in double digits and shooting over 50% from the field for the 4th straight game, leading to a season high of 117 points. While the Hawks played as a team, it was Tim Hardaway Jr.'s season high 20 points and strong fourth quarter shooting that led the Hawks to the win. The Hawks moved to 7-2 on the season and go on the road next Tuesday to take on the Miami Heat. Here from Phillips Arena, Hawks just taken down the Philadelphia 76ers 117-96. For Westminster WCAT, I'm Bennett Porson saying, go Cats. Phillips Arena, Bennett Porson was Mr. WCAT down here on the court with the voice of the Hawks, Bob Rabin. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yes, sir.
Bob, the Hawks are off to a fantastic season so far. What's been going right for the Hawks? And you've covered the Hawks for a long time. What makes this team different than you've seen in years past? What goes into announcing a Hawks game and being the play-by-play night after night? Well, thank you so much. Be sure to tune in at 7:30 on Fox Sports to catch out Bob Rathman called tonight's game against the Sixers. Bennett Porson was Mr. WCAT here from Phillips Arena. Go Cats. Porson was Mr. WCAT here with Westminster alum Harrison Bucker and Georgia Tech place kicker. Harrison, congratulations. Y'all just beat Boston College over here in Dublin, Ireland.
Thank you very much. It was a tough game. I'm glad we got the W.
What has the whole Ireland experience meant to you?
Oh, it's been awesome. I mean, sometimes I got to pinch myself and realize that we're in Ireland, but it's been great. It's been an awesome trip so far. The W capping it off is just great.
Have you had to overcome any challenges or adversities, flying over here on Wednesday and then getting right back on the field on Saturday?
The Thursday practice after we flew in was a little rough, and then the rain was a little bit of an adversity, but not really. So it was fun being out here.
After this first game win, what are you looking to carry on into the rest of the season?
Just make every kick one kick at a time, and hopefully we'll get back to the ACC championship game like last year.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
The Westminster Schools comes from Atlanta, Georgia. They're coming off their first state championship in 37 years. The Wildcats are also in their first game against an opponent outside of Georgia since 2011 and their first ever game on foreign soil. Westminster Wildcats have to get their spark plug number 32 in the backfield, Zay Malcolm, going. The reason they started off their season 0-2 is because Zay has not been able to get in the open field and make those big plays. Another key for the Wildcats is finishing their drives. The Wildcats have gone 1 for 4 in the red zone on touchdowns. If the Wildcats want to make anything happen today, they've got to get the ball in the end zone when they get within the 20.
Welcome to Alvin-Dale Stadium, 17 miles east in Decatur, Georgia. The Westminster Wildcats on the road for the first time in 3 weeks versus a region opponent. Hello, everybody. Welcome up to the booth. Bennett Porson joined alongside with Ryan Costley, Ben 40. And, guys, the Wildcats come into this game controlling their own destiny at the top of the leaderboard in the region standings with Pace, Lovett, and Cedar Grove all trailing behind.
And as you said it, Bennett, we control our own destiny. As you can see on your screen here, if we continue to do what we're supposed to do on the football field, we're going to have a great chance at some home football games in the playoffs.
And this is key because last week, Westminster picked up a key win over Pace, and you got to give a lot of credit to Zay Malcolm.
Yeah, senior running back Zay Malcolm really led the way offensively last week for the Westminster Wildcats in that win against a pretty aggressive and disciplined Pace Academy Knights defense. Zay had 175 rushing yards in that game, but 437 all-purpose yards, an interception return, and a kick return for a touchdown. He really led the way. Look for him to be explosive tonight.
And as much as Zay was impressive on the ground last week, you got to give some credit to the big hogs up front who paved the way.
Absolutely. Number 72, Kyle Desnoyer, led the way for the offensive line, who played spectacular against a really good Pace defense. They had 3 D1 commits on that D-line. They helped open up holes for Zay Malcolm, who averaged 8 yards a carry. That's pretty amazing, Bennett.
And not only did the Wildcats get it done on offense, but they also held a pretty electric Pace offense to minimal yardage.
And 3 names in particular come up in terms of leadership in the defense last week. That's juniors Colin Gutzmer, David Edmiston, and Truman Jones. Those 3 guys combined for 24 tackles last week. As Westminster plays this game against McNair, love it next week. Going into the playoffs later this season, look for those 3 guys to really play well on the defensive side.
Well, we're set to kick it off here at Avondale Stadium. Your Westminster Wildcats taking on the McNair Mustangs. But before we can do that, let's check out last week's thrilling win over Pace Academy.
The Westminster Wildcats, one of the top offenses in all the land. Things begin up front with the offensive line.
This offensive line, you cannot say enough great things about it. Peter Rudy, first team all-region. Max Coffin, the senior who got the honorable mention, leading these guys up front, paving the way for Zay and creating a pocket for Ward Croft.
Since 2007, that's no small feat considering they're playing one of the toughest regions in the state.
Wiley, not at all. The Wildcats are undefeated in the region right now, 4-0 with 2 crucial wins over both Pace and Cedar Grove. We saw Cedar Grove last year as a semifinalist, and we saw Pace this year, who was a 2A state champion last year. Wildcats have already taken both of them down. Biggest competition left is Lovett, and that's tonight.
Bennett, his numbers against Lovett in his career, they're remarkable.
Wiley, Zay has absolutely gone off in his last 3 years versus Lovett, averaging 100 yards a game, has had 2 touchdowns last year in the Lovett game. Whenever Zay takes the field against the boys in blue, he's going to go off. But Wiley, Brady leads the Lovett Lions in both passing and rushing yards. If they want to make anything happen on offense, they're going to go straight through him. So the Wildcat defense looking to key in on Brady Tyndall all night if they want to stop the Lion offense.
And they were successful.
And the receiving game has been absolutely incredible. They're easy to get overshadowed with number 32, Zay Malcolm in the backfield. However, Joe Egan and Nance Hill, those two have been absolutely lights out all season and helping Croft create one of the best receiving and passing games that we've seen in the last 5 years.
Second round of the playoffs.
And Ryan, who's throwing to him, is Ward Croft on an all-time high of confidence ever since he took over 8 weeks ago as the starting quarterback, over 1,000 passing yards, and offers help for Zay Malcolm. Zay Malcolm having a fantastic season in the backfield, but when Ward Croft gets hot as well, it makes that dual-action passing attack and running attack for the offense. In the linebacking core, you can't say enough about Charlie Bennett, the senior. This is his first year starting, filling the role fantastic. We always talk about David Edmondson and Colin Gutzmer. However, what we don't talk about Charlie Bennett is he leads the linebacking core in tackles for loss and sacks. So getting into the backfield and just having an impressive season so far. Croft, handoff is to Malcolm. Malcolm bursts to speed, and he's headed towards the end zone. No one to stop him. Zay Malcolm, 20-yard touchdown, walks straight into the end zone. No one stopping number 32 in green. Woods fakes handoff. Truman Jones trying to get to him in the end zone. Cortez Austin, Woods on his heels and just has to throw this one away. And flag is thrown. You have to wonder if that's intentional grounding. And Cortez Austin and Truman Jones were all over Jelani Woods. And Woods just had to do anything and everything to get rid of that ball.
32-yard line.
So Notori Johnson into the game to help protect this one. You have to assume the Wildcats are going to come with some pressure and try and block this one in the end zone. Punt to the far side. It's high and long. However, Malcolm going to field it, backpedaling. Malcolm trying to make something happen, makes people miss. Malcolm to the near side. Does he have the speed? Notori Johnson is the only one back to stop him. And Malcolm brings us all the way back to the 7-yard line. 32-yard return for Malcolm. He caught that one backpedaling on his own 45 and made it all the way up to the 7. Ward Croft under center. Walker and Uday in the backfield. Handoff is to Uday. Uday might make something happen on the far side. Diving into the end zone. Touchdown Wildcats! You have to love Ian Uday's patience on that run. Waited for the play to develop, waited for his block to develop, didn't try to force a thing. And Ian Uday puts this one in the back of the end zone. 2 minutes left to go in the third. In a third quarter that has been dominated by the Wild. Croft in the pistol. Looking to the far side, he's got Joe Egan wide open into the breadbasket. Joe Egan to the near side, marching into the end zone. Untouched, Joe Egan wide open.
And what a
61-yard touchdown, Ward Croft to Joe Egan. That is their second connection of the night for 6.
And what an
Croft under center. Handoff is to Uday. Going with the power run up the middle. And Uday into the end zone for 6. Wildcats on the board. Uday behind him. Going to the right. Uday handoff. Uday breaking one tackle. Uday still making people miss. Uday into the end zone. Ian Uday has got his second of the night. Croft in the gun. He's got Nance Hill. Nance Hill over the middle. Hill into the end zone. Touchdown Wildcats. Nance Hill putting 6 on the board. Just under 3 minutes left. Dowdy over to Evans. Evans jab steps, drives. Cooper driving. Not able to get that one to fall, so Wildcats down 3. Malcolm with the ball. And Malcolm to Howland. Howland, Strickland. Wildcats working the ball around. Strickland sees his lane, drives, and one. Strickland with a chance at a 3-point play and tie this game right back up. Same 5, Wildcats up 1, 7 seconds left. East Hall High School, Gainesville, Georgia. Inbounds. Inside to Brown, and that's good! Wildcats, 4 seconds left. Paris Howland going to drive the court. And that's no good. But wait, officials are trying to back up here. They're going to say that Coach Malloy got the timeout before the end of the game. Let's see where they mark the clock here. So Brown, layup to put East Hall up 1. Coach Malloy calls the timeout. Officials are going to talk this one over.
Farley. Over to Vroon. As Raines trots back to the other side and brings on Will Fitzharris to complete the 6 for the Cats on attack. Looking to put another one in the back of the net and reel in the GAC lead to 1. Will Fitzharris up top. He dodges from up top. That's a high check, but Fitzharris still makes him fall to the ground. They're going to call it this time, and Devereaux with the ball back behind. David Vroon calling for the ball. Devereaux going to take a shot anyways, and that one's in the back of the net. Cats fans on their feet here. Albany Thompson Stadium, Fritz-Orr Field. Cats take this GAC lead to 1.
Vroon trying to find a cutting Wildcat player on the inside, but Alatuna's defense too strong for the Wildcats. Jack Patton takes a shot, and that one's in the back of the net. Wildcats bring this lead to 2. The Alatoona Buccaneers leading the Westminster Wildcats 3-1 with about 2:52 left to go in this first quarter.
Your final, Westminster Wildcats 42, Cedar Grove Saints 21. Westminster moving to 3-2 on the season, 2-0 in the region. For our entire WCAT crew on all fronts, I'm Bennett Porson, Ryan Cosley, Chuck Easley, saying good night and go Cats.